How's it going, everyone? My name is Adam and welcome to Driven Nashville. If you're new to the channel, we produce enthusiast driven car content, and today, while it's not an enthusiast car, I'm going to give you the enthusiast perspective on the new Volvo C40 Recharge. Let's go ahead and roll that cool front montage, shall we? Hope y'all enjoyed that front montage. Brian is the man, always kills it. So I just want to tell you, this is in Fjord Blue. It's got about 486 foot-pounds of torque from a dual motor, a little over 410 horsepower. They say it runs 0 to 60 in a little over 4.5 seconds. I gotta say, this thing does smoke like most electric cars, give you that instant torque, instant power. Let's go ahead and launch it so you can see what this thing does. It's supposed to do 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. Let's find out. Oh yeah, boy, that feels good. That feels good. That's 100. Well, there you go, guys. Now, it is about $61,000 right now before a $7,500 EV tax credit. That will eventually expire, but right now, anybody who goes and orders this car and for the foreseeable future will be able to benefit from that. Unfortunately, Tesla, that's phased out long ago. I also just want to give you a little color, guys, on my background when it comes to EV cars. You know, I do have done a ton of, what we call enthusiast cars, but I've also done quite a few EV cars over the years. I've done the Model X and Model S. Those are both cars that I personally own and have owned since 2019. So I've been daily driving a Tesla Model X and a Model S now since then. I've also done the Porsche Taycan. I've done the Mustang Mach-E. I've done the new EQS 580 from Mercedes. I've done the Model Y. So I've done quite a few cars, that have been electric. So hopefully my perspective helps you a little bit. Now, I want to start off with going over just some of the interior styling of this car. Then we're also going to talk about the exterior styling, and then we're going to take it on a full point of view drive so you get a really good idea of how it performs. I will say real quick, this is one of the absolute easiest cars I've ever driven. It's so easy to drive, guys, from shifting the gears to just, the throttle, the recharge mode, the effortlessness of the steering. It's just an easy, great daily driver. And hopefully you like my perspective. I know this is totally free to you. Maybe you see a few ads along the way from the partner program, but we really appreciate a like. Drop a comment. I know there's a lot of C40 content already out there, but I really hope that you enjoy my perspective. And let's take a look at the exterior, and then we'll eventually get into the interior here, and I'll give you my take. All right, so take a look here. We got 20-inch wheels. I like these wheels. I think they're good looking. Nice polished here. These are not plastic. These feel really nice, all aluminum. Coming into the front here, we have the Ford hammer headlights, big Volvo logo. All this, there's a little bit, you have air openings here and air openings here. Otherwise, it's pretty closed off. I personally like the way the front looks. I also like this color too. Fjord Blue is a really cool color. Now, coming down to the back, you can absolutely see this is a crossover. So if you were to get the new the XC, this comes out a little bit further, and I'll go ahead and drop an image of what the back looks like. So if you do get the C40 Recharge, you lose a little bit of rear space back here, but nothing detrimental. If you come back here as well, you can see that you have still a very, very practical vehicle back here. And you could also lay these rear seats down, and it's plenty of space. Best part about having a crossover. A couple of cool lights on the back here as well. These are very Volvo, and I like the look of this car. I gotta say, I think it's kind of grown on me. I've got to spend 2 days with the vehicle now, and overall, it's good looking. If y'all didn't notice as well, the paint is two-tone. So you have kind of a black, and then it cuts here in blue. So overall styling, it is take or leave it, but I do want to make one very important note here. The panel gaps, guys, this car is so dialed in. It is one thing that I cannot say about my Teslas. The Model X was fine. The Model S had really, really bad panel gaps. Boy, I tell you, these cicadas are loud today. Excuse me, I'm doing a video here. Can you simmer down now? I'll just say real quick, the panel gaps on this car and the overall build quality is exceptionally good. It is amazing, guys. So I just want to say that Teslas, I hate to say it, my Model S rattles. It has panel gap issues, even brand new ones. I even reviewed the new Plaid, and that thing even had issues coming from the factory. So there's something about Volvo. They have got their interior quality standards really dialed in. The interior of this car is very quiet. It does not rattle. The exterior is all dialed in. So hats off to you, Volvo. You know, Volvo is known for being a premium car manufacturer, but they're really more known for their safety, right? I mean, this is the company that invented the 3-point safety harness. They invented the blind spot detection system. They invented the child seat bolsters in the back. I mean, a lot of different things that they're known for on the safety side, but I want to make it very clear that this car is also a very well-built car. All right, coming on to the inside of the car. Now, a couple of the things that I wanted to point out is this right here is carpet. Like, this is actual carpet, guys. So it's not some blue material. It is actually blue carpet, but it looks really good. And all of this right here, this is a typographical map that is meant to look like the Abisko National Park in Sweden and or Switzerland. And then this right here is two-tone. This is all vegan, guys, but I gotta say the leather they chose with this vegan leather feels really, really nice. Great stitch lines. You have the suede and Alcantara on the middle here. Very, very, very nice place to spend time. Again, it's quiet, like I said. Carbon card and sound system. This all lights up at night. Now, outside of those details, you know, this is all that soft, kind of plasticky leather material, right? This right here is all just plastic, right? Plastic here. So again, not a ton of frills outside of that, but the seat and the overall feeling of the leather is really nice. And a couple of other cool details they put inside here. This is actually really good amount of storage. You can use this as well, and this actually pops out. So this can be used for your trash, which is a really cool feature. 2 cup holders, your cell phone charging here, and if you want Apple CarPlay, you have another USB-C here that's lit up in white, and I'll actually demonstrate how this works. This actual car, because they came out with the over-the-air update yesterday, apparently, actually now has Apple CarPlay, which is one of the things that a lot of the reviewers saying was a negative. Really quick, guys, I wanted to demonstrate CarPlay. So again, you plug it into that outlet right there, plug it into your phone, and then on the home screen here, when you come up here, it comes up with Apple CarPlay. You just click it and you have full Apple CarPlay. You have all your apps here as well. So it works really well. I gotta say, they've done a great job integrating it into the system. Coming to the steering wheel here, you've got your ability to put in your lane keeping technology right here. You've got the ability to talk to Google, which I'll demonstrate on our point of view drive. And then this is like changing the music and just some of the overall menus. Full TFT display here, fairly decent size here. Your typographical map, like I said, comes around. You do have a moonroof here, which is really nice. There is no ability to adjust or close this. Keep that in mind. And it also will not open. Beyond that, it's just got that same type of, inexpensive material, kind of soft cloth material. Little fun detail here, you have the country's flag here. And I do like some of the interior details that Volvo has, right? These knobs are kind of nice. But I just like that it's very minimalistic. I was sitting in the EQS yesterday and it had 56 inches of screen real estate. I mean, this entire thing, as beautiful as it was nothing but TFT to screens. And it was overwhelming. This car, it's just simple. You have a very few buttons here. Everything's here. Everything is easily accessible. You have really nice, instrument clusters here on the side that are very specific to Volvo. I just think that you'll enjoy this cockpit overall because of its simplicity and its ease of understanding where everything is. I will tell you, I was a little overwhelmed yesterday with the EQS and its massive amount of screen real estate. All right, coming on to the back here, this is obviously a really, really important feature of any daily driver. Now, I'm 6 feet tall. I've got my seat pretty far back and I have a little bit of space here, as you can see. I am touching right here with my shins if I put it up, but I have to say I think I could be very comfortable back here. You do have a couple of cup holders back here as well. You have more seat charging, and it looks like this particular car, you do have your heated use your heated seats. You have another 12 volt outlet. Oh, nope, not 12 volt. You have 2 more USB-C chargers down here. And then this also does come down. If you lift this up, this can be actually, this could be a ski pass-through if you happen to be a skier or whatever you need, I guess, that's long. And then if you want to lay the seats down, you have, again, these are the child safety right here. That's that seat bolstering I was mentioning earlier. And then if you want to lay the seats down, very, very simple. You push this. Could that be any easier? I don't think so. Again, put it up, come down. Look how much space you get. And notice there is this kind of protective material here as well. This is kind of like that cold weather package you get. So very, very cool, very practical car. Overall, I am a fan of the practicality and the interior of it. All right, coming on to the front trunk here. If you are interested to know, the latch is right up here on the right-hand side. If you want to pop that open. All of this is closed. You have your windshield wiper fluid here. Although they do give you a little bit of space. Now, if you do lift this up and you actually pull this out, you can actually pull all of that out as well. This is for your tire pressure and the ability to lift the car, etc. And you can actually get quite a bit of usable space there. And then you can actually put some groceries or whatever. But I gotta say, I don't think with the amount of space this car gives you from the back, you're really gonna use that front trunk much, because it is kind of just a pain to get open. You know, real quick, one of the negatives of this vehicle could be the fact that it only has a 78 kilowatt battery. And it gives the range of this car about 226 miles of range, which if you have your AC and or your heat on and you're taking some spirited drives like we're about to do, you could very well end up with an actual usable range that is over or under 200 miles. I'd probably say you could very well get 190 to 200 miles consistently if you are keeping those auxiliary systems on. So just keep that in mind. You know, one thing the Model Y has and some of the other competitors is they have more range. If you are, doing 100 miles a day, which most people are, not gonna be a problem. In fact, I'm actually gonna take you to a supercharger today at Walmart, and I'm gonna demonstrate how fast this car charges. I do think you could absolutely install a 240 outlet in your garage. I'll go ahead and show what that looks like right now. I'll show you my Tesla chargers and have no problems driving this thing 99% of the time. But if you are gonna take a road trip, losing that extra 50 to 75 miles that the Model Y might give you, which that states around 340 miles, which is quite a bit more. It's over 110, 120 miles more per range than this thing has. That could be a downside factor of this vehicle. So hopefully Volvo will improve the battery storage. Even if they charge you a few $1,000s more for a 100 kilowatt battery, for example, that would be good. I reviewed the Mercedes yesterday, the EQS 580, and that thing had a 340 mile range from a 107 kilowatt battery. So range-wise, this is actually on the lower end of most of the newer EVs out there. I would say that is the only downside, because it is not the build quality, it is not the looks, it is not the ease of driving, which I'm about to show you on the point of view. I really liked driving this car. All right, guys, we're in the Volvo C40 Recharge. I gotta say, this is one of the easiest cars I've ever operated. To put in gear, you have park, reverse, and drive, but let me show you how easy this thing is. That's it. It's ready to go. Now you're in go mode. You want to reverse it? That's it. I mean, it is so easy to drive this car. So let me just turn around here and show you how easy this is. I mean, this is one of the things that makes it so livable. It's just easy to shift. I mean, the Model S that I own and the Model X doesn't even make it that easy. You have to kind of more or less come to a stop. You have to have your foot on the brakes. It's just kind of a pain. This car, you just flip it in, flip it out. You don't even have to put your foot on the brakes when you're going slow, which is just great. You got to get used to it. Now, we're on a back road right now, as you could probably see, and it's comfortable. The suspension is absorbing all of the bumps. We've got 20-inch wheels that are not making the car uncomfortable. So just note the overall drive of this vehicle. That's a pretty bad bump right there. Soaks it right up, okay? The feeling in the steering wheel feels great. It really does. It's a little on the sporty side. I mean, you can see here, there's a little bit of play, but once you give it a little bit of a, lean angle, you feel what the front end's doing. So overall, this car is fun to drive. I mean, it really is. It's not an enthusiast car by any means, but it just feels good to pilot around, Now I'm gonna take it on some back roads here, and I'm gonna show you what this car could actually do. Most of the guys that I've seen review this car are not drivers. I'm a driver, guys. If you watch my channel, you can see that in all of my car reviews. So let's first of all give it the beans here. So that's full throttle. Woo! I mean, that's 80 miles an hour, like that. I mean, these electric cars with the dual motors, it hooks, zero tire spin, right? And it just takes off. And they're fun to drive because of that. They have so much performance and so much power. And it's just fun. I mean, it doesn't feel that boaty. Taking that turn at 60 miles an hour, not a problem. And you can also hear, hopefully, how quiet it is. I mean, this thing is really, really on the... I mean, there's zero rattling going on in here. This is a fairly bumpy road. Just nice. It drives and sounds like a luxury car. It's fun. You can see there, I took my foot off the accelerator. The recharge mode is enabled. This is also called one pedal driving. Different manufacturers call it differently. The EQS calls it regeneration mode, but in the end of the day, you definitely want to keep that on because it will not only increase your range, but it also is just fun. If you get used to using the regenerative mode, you really don't have to ever use your brakes. I mean, but look at this, like we are flying through some of these back roads like we would be in one of our enthusiast cars, and just incredible amount of performance that this thing's putting down. I promise on this drive I am going to demonstrate the lane keeping technology that this car does have, but overall I just want you to know that if you're a driver like me, this is definitely going to be your daily driver, right? This is not going to be your weekend warrior car. It's not going to check that box. Come on, guys. But overall, I think you're going to enjoy this car. Just putzing around town. If you do want to take it on a back road, you can have a little bit of fun with it, but it does feel good. And my channel is definitely more geared towards enthusiast people. So I just want you guys to know that if this is your daily driver, it's still a fun little car to drive. And electric cars in general are just a good time. And I gotta say, the brakes, I just had to use them there. They feel pretty good. They're not too squishy. They're pretty progressive. They don't feel undersized for the weight of this car, which is 4,700 pounds. I was in the EQS yesterday, and those brakes just felt absolutely terrible. They were all over the place. They were squishy. I couldn't tell you if I had to push them harder or softer based on what it was doing. It was just the weirdest thing. I'm not getting that problem with this car in any way. It's just a fun car to drive. It's so easy to drive, Very good, very good. I mean, gosh, that is pretty darn impressive, considering this is an SUV or a crossover. So yes, I definitely am giving it the A-OK for the fun factor as far as driving goes. Really think you'll enjoy it. Now, if you do give it the kind of acceleration that I am, just note you're gonna burn quite a bit more kilowatts per hour. We're currently at 44.4 kilowatts an hour, which is a little higher than you want. I mean, that means your 226 mile stated range is probably gonna be more like 170. So just keep that in mind. All right, I want to transition this point of the driving portion of the video to the lane keeping technology. So if you want to put cruise control on, you hit this button right here. and that activates it. It is literally that simple. It is one button. You can go plus or minus 5 miles per hour by pushing these buttons right here. You can see it's coming up with the hold steering, and eventually it'll stop beeping at you. It will go ahead and do 6 beeps, and then it'll disable. So all you have to do is come in here and give the steering wheel a little bit of a jerk. I will tell you, after spending a couple days with the car here, it's a little more temperamental than Tesla's system is. What I mean by that is it comes up every 20 to 25 seconds seemingly, which is a little annoying because it's gonna force you to either put your hands on the steering wheel or constantly let it know that you're paying attention. So I will say though, the lane keeping technology, from what I can gather, is working quite well. You know, James the rep said that it only works on the highway. Well, I'm telling you, we're on a side road right now. I mean, I wouldn't call this a B road, it's still a highway, it's Highway 431, but it's working just fine. I mean, it's navigating this road just perfectly. I mean, here's a pretty decent sized left-hand turn, and I took over, and now it's back. So it works fairly well. I can tell you on the highway, you're not gonna have any problems, but you still wanna pay attention to it on a back road like this, but it's still doing a fair job. It's now gonna slow down because it sees the truck in front of me. And here you go. This is absolutely something I would use. Now, Tesla has full self-driving, or is almost about to have full self-driving, but I will tell you, as an owner of full self-driving, it is one of the largest scams in the automotive industry and has been for many years. If you paid $6,000 to $10,000, now it's $12,000 for full self-driving, you essentially have not received full self-driving. Yes, it will do lane change with autopilot with Tesla. This does not do lane changing. The new Mercedes EQS does do lane changing, so it just depends on the manufacturer if they give you that ability or not. But in the end of the day, you're mostly just going to use that right there. Just keep me in the lane and keep me in traffic. That is something that's going to take a lot of stress off of you in the, you know, the trips. Full self-driving eventually will be here. Maybe it's this year, maybe it's next year, maybe they're never going to solve it. I don't know. I think Tesla is close personally. If you do have the beta version for full self-driving, it is pretty incredible. It still requires a little bit of interaction with the driver. You know, you might have to take over once or twice, but it does almost get you to your destination. So that is something. If you're interested in full self-driving, this car is never going to have that capability. Google. Navigate to the Electrify America station at the Walmart Supercenter in Brentwood, Tennessee.
There's an Electrify America charging station 11 minutes away. Want to navigate there? I do.
If you want to just keep your hands on the steering wheel, let's go ahead and do that, just to see if it stops coming up with that message. So it's coming up about every 20 seconds right now. And it hasn't come on. I will say though, it kind of defeats the purpose of doing lane keeping if you have to keep your hands on the steering wheel, doesn't it? So, you take your hands off, you're gonna get about 20 seconds, maybe less. So, this system's a little finicky. I think Volvo's gotta dial it in. I would like much longer time periods where I have to go ahead and jerk the steering wheel. Tesla will sometimes give you up to 1 minute to 2 minutes, especially if you're just cruising here at 75 miles an hour. So be mindful of that, but hopefully that's you know, nice for you guys to see. All right, we're pulling into the Walmart here in Franklin, Tennessee. The station is actually over here on the left-hand side of the building. So they put these Electrify America stations in, you know, different unique spots. Sometimes you'll find them at hotels. It looks like there's a Mustang Mach-E charging. So let's go ahead and pop into this EV station here, and hopefully it's going. All right, as you can see here, this just pops open. You want to go ahead and unplug this. This allows you to have the fast charger. From there, you're going to want to do the CCS. Okay, that allows you to do up to 150 kilowatts. And it's a heavy thing, so it helps to have two hands here. All right, I've been here just about 20 minutes, came in around 50% range, 49 to be exact. We're currently at 72%. The charging has gone down to 65 kilowatts, so I will tell you that Electrify America needs to pick that up. There, maybe we need to unlock cable first. There we go. Gosh, that is a big cable. I will tell you, I got to give the hats right there to Tesla. These cables are monstrous. I will say I had a hard time taking that cable in and out with one hand. So Tesla's chargers are, I mean, they're pretty fat, but that's just heavy. So just keep that in mind. You know, I don't see too many old ladies manhandling that. They're going to be a little bit better with their gas pumps, but the overall charging capability was pretty good. We got about 20 minutes here. We got 24%. I will tell you, they need to pick up the charging capability because there was nobody else at this station at this moment in time. It should have gone a little bit faster, but overall that was livable. I just wanted to show you all real quick that if you're reversing the car, you do have a reverse camera, and it does give you 360 degrees of the different sensors around the area. So you come to a complete stop, which regen mode will do for you. You take your foot off the accelerator and it just holds itself until you're ready to go. You really can't beat that. Well, I will tell you, I just had this guy slow down pretty drastically, and this car alerted me to that and immediately tightened the 3-point safety belt quite a bit. So this thing does have some really good built-in safety features that are going to keep you alive in the event of a crash. So just a note there. Well, guys, this is my conclusion. I really appreciate you watching. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much. I just want to sum this up. I really like this car. I like the build quality. I like the looks. I really dig Fjord Blue. I like the interior. I like the Google entertainment system. I liked how well it worked. Overall, I think this is a great car. It's significantly less expensive than the Model Y. I wouldn't say significantly, but let's be honest, over $11,000 cheaper when you factor in the EV tax credit. So other than the fact that the range is quite a bit less, this is a very, very, very good car in the EV crossover segment. And if I were you, I would check it out. I would absolutely contact Carlock Motor Cars and I would take it out for a drive. I really do think you'll enjoy it. And I think if you don't want to be a Tesla, because you see a ton of those, this would be something different, right? This would be something unique on the road that not a lot of other people are driving right now. You can also buy these. Tesla is sold out on the Model Y, I heard, for 6 to 7 months currently. And that assumes that the chip shortage doesn't get any worse. These you can get within 6 to 8 weeks, I'm told. So that's really cool. I mean, that's a huge selling factor because you can actually get one. Now, Volvo's also coming out with the C90, which is their larger version of this car, which actually has 3 rows. So they're coming out with that fully electric car soon, which we're going to get our hands on. And that one's going to be another huge hit. And if you also don't want fully electric, you can get the XC, which is a hybrid. That gives you a gas engine and the battery operated hybrid power plant. So that gives you around 30 to 35 miles of practical range per gallon of gas. And maybe that's the way you want to go. But either way, I think this is a great vehicle. I've really enjoyed my time with it. I really just don't have a lot of negatives to say other than the fact that it's not cheap, let's be honest, and that the range is just not as great as some of the EV6s of the world and some of the Model Y long ranges. That's it for me, guys, though. I appreciate you watching. Look out for any likes and comments, and thank you so much for your time, and we will talk to you on the next one.